YouTubers and Down the Scope fans? RadAwesome27 back here, and a lot has happened in this past week. But first off, let's get our Let's Play master, Verdia Guru.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. Anything new with you?
Yeah, actually, I just found out today that I'm having a little baby boy. So
hey, congrats!
Yeah!
Oh man,
awesome.
Congrats! My God!
Yeah, we went to had the ultrasound done, and I sat there just nervous as all heck, and just praying that she wouldn't say, oh, it's missing a finger, or oh, its heartbeat's irregular or something, and I don't think I've ever been that excited and anxious at the same time, like, ever. I mean, it was just so crazy, and but kind of scares me for when that day comes when it's it's going to be born. I know Anakin's been through it, so he knows. Especially when I can't imagine the anxiety when you saw there were 2 heartbeats in there.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm like, oh god.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so I mean, as of right now, when you guys see the podcast, I will have a video of the ultrasound up on my channel, so you can check that out.
Awesome.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. Other than that, I've just been playing some Homefront. I mean, that's pretty much it. So.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Oh boy. Yeah, we will. And we also have our dark side native over there, Anakin. What's going on?
Hey, everybody. What's going on? It's been kind of dull for me lately.
Apparently.
I heard that deep breath.
Yeah. I do have to say just very quickly to some of the gang that's listening to this, I know on my channel's been a little stagnant lately. I just want everybody who is listening to the podcast to know that I am, still alive, and I am looking forward to doing some new things on my channel soon. But the twins have been taking up an extremely insane amount of time. But I am getting back in the groove. I do have some games to cover. I do have some things to announce on my channel coming up soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
That's awesome. Sweet. And I do have one more mention. Sadly, Miss Zombie Lady is out of town this week, so we're going to miss her, and we hope she has a great trip.
Yeah, she's got some kind of a band performance, I think, is what it is. So she's rocking the house. Yeah.
Indeed. She's been working on that for an awfully long time.
So, yeah, this
all
is
right, and on to our topics this week.
Edition.
Sausage Fest, yeah!
Oh, my God. Just had to bring that up, didn't you? Trying to get around the Sausage Fest. Just like, oh, well, we just maybe. Anyway. Oh, my gosh, Anakin, you're just waiting there, weren't you?
Awesome.
All right. So this week's topics are just a couple. There's going to be a quick one here is the weird or the stories you've experienced at GameStops. And most people, if you shopped at GameStop, you have a weird story to tell. And I got a handful. I'm sure Anakin does. And Verdia's just lame. So life.
Yep.
Then we also have Homefront review from all 3 of us. A little spin-off on sniping, and of course our favorite worlds if we have time for all 4 of those awesome topics.
Yeah, well, I think I would like to start with the Homefront.
Yeah, let's just get it out of the way.
You don't want to start?
Let me push up my sleeves here. Give me a second.
Okay, so
right.
I want to start, okay, because I know you guys. I've heard a little bit of your guys' opinion on it, and I want to address this straight off the bat. Now, me personally, it's obvious that there is a ton of just glitchy nonsense in this game. And if you watch my Let's Play on my channel, or if you're on my channel right now and you've seen it, you guys have seen it. Excuse me. And that is evident. However, I personally, I don't have a huge beef with the story. Per se, I have a beef with the multiplayer, so I just want to throw that out there, and I'm gonna let you guys just tell about your single player experience before I go into multiplayer.
Can I go? No, actually, Anakin should go. No, Anakin, you go first. I'm sorry. Let me put my novel down. You zombie story. Go ahead.
One word: refund. And you know what's even worse? I didn't even buy it. I want a refund of the time I played a borrowed copy of it. It is so bad.
Okay, so what made it bad?
Here's the deal. Just my take on it, okay? And I actually only I borrowed it from a friend of mine who had he bought it launch day. He was so disappointed in it that he gave it to me the next day and said, "Please go and play this and tell me it's not just me and not that I just didn't waste $60." So I knew better. I actually held off on this one because I knew there was a lot of hype. I knew there was almost no way this game was going to be able to live up to it. So I said, all right, let me just try it. Okay, let me just see. I know it's not going to be a Call of Duty killer, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. So I just started with the campaign. And it was just like it started. I actually really like the opening video. How they did that. They went through the years and they highlighted major events through the years, and that good opening video that led supposedly to the Korean occupation of the United States. I thought that was very well done, and that's it.
Yeah, especially.
Well, and even
there were
in that
live clips as well.
Right. Well, even in that opening scene, a lot of my subscribers, very, very observant subscribers, pointed something out that I didn't catch, which I should have, was that EMP bomb somehow just targeted the United States, didn't affect Canada, didn't affect Mexico.
I know they had a laser shaped like the United States continent that just came down and did an EMP pulse exactly in that configuration.
I was like, what? I was bringing that up myself. I was just like, you're right. You're 100% right. It's a lot of times I'm like, okay, guys, you're splitting hairs here, okay? But no, this was pretty blatant.
Yeah, that was right there. That one moment was the beginning of when I knew already, okay, something ain't right about this game.
Exactly.
Man.
So Rhett, you put the game in today.
Oh my God. Okay, so I bought it on launch day, and I got a message from one of my friends here, and they're like, "Don't open it." And I'm like, well, "Oh, come on. It can't be that bad." I mean, there was so much talk about it. Who would promote such a crappy game, right? So I waited a couple days. I waited actually an entire week, and today I'm like, you know what? Screw it. It can't be that bad. I'm putting it in. I want to get my money's worth out of it. I just paid $60 for it, even though I could have went and returned it. And I put it in. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to play this. Going to get multiplayer footage. Going to get as much as I can out of this. And hopefully my subscribers will enjoy it. I put in the game, and my first problem already occurred. As soon as I put in my game, it goes into 480.
480
like,
resolution.
What? 480 resolution, guys. So going from our normal Call of Duty and our beautiful high definition, I go to Crapsville. Everything looks blurry and it starts moving when you look at anything. You look like, geez, is it seizuritis or something? I couldn't believe it.
Seizuritis.
Oh my God.
So when I'm like, I restarted it 2 or 3 times, and you get to see this when I post my playthrough of it. Oh boy, all it is. If you want to see someone rage, oh my gosh, there was 4 to 5 times during that campaign I just had to stop before I was literally about to burst out screaming, chuck my controller, and say, "I'm done with this." So the biggest thing that kept getting me is 480. You'll keep hearing me in my playthrough say, "I can't believe this. I cannot stand looking at this because my eyes are bleeding." So, all right, fine. You know what? Graphics aren't everything, people. Even if they're dots on a screen and we're back to Pong, let's see how the game plays. So, I hit campaign. And the beginning, kind of powerful. Like you guys said, it was pretty good. They put clips, like modern-day clips, and they kind of put spin-offs of them, almost like Mad Lib sentences in the game. They're just like, we are not at war. And the MP went off, and I did catch that too, where I'm like, this is, they just EMP'd America. And America didn't really care or do anything in defense, or it only hit America. Wow, I didn't know we were that weak. When did this happen? And also the, oh my God, unification, thank you, of North and South Korea was the biggest joke I ever saw in my life. I couldn't stop laughing after that part. But we'll get into the game. So the opening scene, the 480 just kept eating me away. But I'm like, all right. We get to a part where a mother and a father are telling their child to look away from because they're about to be murdered by Korean soldiers and murdered in front of the child, and the child starts crying, and they walk away as the parents were killed, and that was really powerful. I mean, I don't care who you are. That is war at, when you don't care about women and children on the fronts. Probably, I'm sure it's happened throughout the years, especially in Vietnam. It was awful crap like that. But that's
by the way, hang on. Let me interject. Hang on. I have to say,
please.
I honestly, I'm not jaded, and in fact, I'm a very new parent. So you'd think I'd be very in tune with that. I was not moved by that scene at all. Really,
Are you kidding me?
Why not?
Because when I came around the corner in the bus, I'm looking at all this, and I already know, okay, this has been done so much better before in the Half-Life series of games, and it's been done in other games as well. And it's like, okay, here we are, and I'm rolling my eyes at this because I'm like, okay, I'm stuck in a moving vehicle. I can only look out. They did this in the beginning of Modern Warfare when you're driving through the city in the car, and you can't do anything. And all, here I am. I'm a gamer, and I'm on parade going through a bunch of scripted scenes. And I felt like, I know this is good setup and everything, and I know that they're trying to create that mood and that vibe. As soon as they killed some other people, and you show that you see the Koreans beating up other people and everything, I'm like, okay. At some point, this is probably going to go a little too far, and they're going to go for shock value. Sure enough, literally as I said that, I come around the corner, and I hear, don't look, brrr, ah! And I'm like, okay,
That is the worst interpretation I've heard of that.
But, it was, to me, it wasn't actually all that powerful to me as much as it was just plain distasteful. And it was there for shock value to me.
Definitely distasteful.
Well, yeah.
But not as later in the game, which I'll bring up later, and I'll give you a spoiler or whatever. But Brad, did you want to say something right there?
No, I was just going to put my in. Yeah, I mean, you can even, if you go to my playthrough, I was shocked that they did it. And, I even say, I think they crossed a barrier. There's that part, and I don't know how to explain it, but
yeah,
the way I look at it is that I don't think you should put that maybe at the beginning. I think you should have a very finely tuned game, and then maybe put that as something later on, because that is a reality. Whether or not it's for shock value or not, that's part of war, and it's happened in real life. I'm sure you've seen the video in, I think it was Pakistan or wherever, where that kid and the dad are scrunched up behind the trash can, and they just blow them away. They kill the kid and the dad. That stuff happens a lot, and if used correctly, it would be nice. It would be, but to do it right out of the gate, do it right out,
and that's why I felt like.
And let me just say, wait. Let me just say right now, what Brad meant by nice, as in like feeling as the game. Do not take that the wrong way, trollers.
Right,
as in like, yay, blow people up.
Right.
No.
Yeah, that would be
nice. Theatrics.
Yeah,
that would be nice. No. I mean, in the mythos of the story, if you put something in there like that, it needs to have some kind of a foundation around it. Don't put that as the very beginning thing. I don't think that was the appropriate way to set the world. I mean, if you had just left the kid out and kept going, and then later in the game you're actually in an encampment with certain people in it, blah blah blah, I'm not going to ruin anything. You could have done it there or something like that.
Yeah, give it time to build.
Exactly.
But yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, like you were describing, how this really is something that people obviously face. In fact, it's going on in the world right now. I mean, with all these uprisings over in the Middle East, this stuff is going on. Families are being separated. They're losing their loved ones. That's a reality, okay? But the way I felt that scene was set up in this game was almost a parody of that scenario, a satire, versus something where they were trying to create the same tone, because of just the game's animation quality and the graphics quality and all that. I just felt like, it's just not working for me. I just feel like, I'm not moved by that. In fact, it's almost like, you guys know that Taiwanese animation company that does all the goofy news stories. I'm sure you've seen them, where they did the Tiger Woods thing, and I felt like it was almost something like that, trying to show something that's very serious, but no matter how you see it, it comes across either in poor taste or just stupid. And I felt like that's the way this came across to me. So I really was not moved. The idea obviously moves me, but the actual visual that they went through, I thought was just kind of corny.
Right.
All right, I agree with that. Now, we got to get back here with how my whole experience went. I'll try and wrap it up quicker, but we're in the bus. You finally get hit, and I fall through the glass, and then it took me till you meet another character in the game who's African American. That can't really give away too much, and that's when I finally found out my name, my main character's name.
Yeah.
It took me that long. I'm like, oh, my name's, what is it, Jake or something like that?
Jacob, yeah.
I don't even remember. So it took me that long to figure out his name. I'm like, well, that's great.
Yeah.
You know your soap in the beginning of Modern Warfare when you hear, soap, wake up, or whenever.
Right.
But my gosh. Then the thing that just kept getting with me was little glitches. I'm walking down the stairs with that character you meet, and because he's so slow and the beautiful 480 graphics, as we're going down the stairs, it literally elevator glitched me up. You'll see it in my playthrough. I was in an elevator glitch. I'm like, what the heck?
Are you serious?
I can't move. I was in an elevator glitch, and it puts me back down. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I sympathize 100% with what you're saying with the glitches, and luckily for Reed and myself, we have video proof of these. So, okay,
I wouldn't record it. I wasn't going to subject my viewers to that.
Well, it's not. Here's the thing. Yeah, it does take you out of the story a little bit, but I still am hopeful for the rest of the story mode. But if you even go back to the first episode of my Let's Play, at the very end, I die for the first time, and
I die so much more than that because I don't understand directions apparently. But continue.
Well, okay, so at the very beginning, I die. I walk out. They're sitting there yelling at me, "Don't go out there!" But I'm not listening. I'm talking. I'm talking to the crowd, and I just walk out. The tank kills me, and I go to a loading screen.
Oh my God. That's exactly where I died because they're like, sprint. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, oh, there's a concrete block. I'll hide behind that. No. You're supposed to sprint across the street. Don't hide behind the safe block.
Well,
it's a roadblock.
Well, if you go in there,
the
loading screen. So it looks like a normal picture. So they've got these pictures that tell you what's going on in the world. And then at the bottom, there's this beautiful, colorful bar. It's just like all the colors of the rainbow just at the bottom. And I'm like, first time I had seen a load screen, and I was like, wonder if it's supposed to be that way. Well, turns out that it ends up loading for about 15 minutes.
Oh God!
Now, me having everything in the world to say whenever, I just sit there and talk. I don't even think about it. So I'm sitting there talking for like 10 minutes, and then I'm like, what the heck? My PS3 shuts off. I lose all progress. So I log back in, still recording, mind you. I log back on, and I continue with the recording. I'm like, well, that sucked. And then I get caught in a save glitch. So I get a checkpoint. There's a part where you're in a treehouse. The treehouse blows up. You fall in insane slow motion down, and you're in a corner of a backyard that has a plane crashed in it, and the Koreans are just torrents of Koreans coming out of this thing.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened?
What are you playing this on, normal or hard?
I'm playing it on normal.
Yeah, I'm normal too.
Yeah, same.
Wait, no, you know what? I don't know what I'm playing it on, actually, because it never gave me a choice at the beginning.
Yeah, you had to go to options. How stupid is that? You had to go to
I was
options
fiddling with options
settings.
too.
Right, so I
was trying to fix my freaking 480. Continue.
Anyway, so it checkpoints me in this corner of the backyard, but I'm sitting there and a grenade. Bling, another grenade, bling, 3 grenades, boom, I blow up, I'm dead. I'm like, well, shit, guys, I'm like, I'm pretty pissed off. So I load the checkpoint up. Guess what? Guess what's at my feet?
Nades.
Holy cow.
So guess who had to start the whole dang thing over?
You.
I couldn't get out. No, I tried. I was sitting there I was sprinting, and then boom, it'd kill me. Or I would get out for just 1 second, and then one of the nades they'd throw more grenades. Luckily, when I restarted the game, I literally just throw all my grenades over there. I wouldn't have known to do that had I not been caught in this glitch, but I just chunk all my grenades over there and ends up killing all of them, so I don't have to worry about it. But it's little glitches like that make the single player bad. Now, you guys
break games.
Do you have anything else to say about the single player? Because I need to get into the
Yes, I do.
Okay,
let me finish this up then. I've had teleporting glitches, like you said. I actually pointed out where I saw, what's her name, Rihanna, run into the middle of the battlefield, kill like 4 guys. all of a sudden she's at my side. I'm like, whoa, when the hell did you get there?
Yeah.
And that scared the crap out of me multiple times. The rage factor is with a part where there's exploding barrels and there's too many Koreans. And all I had was a shotgun. I was out of ammo and everything else, the shotgun they give you. And it was just awful trying to get through that because something would fall, someone would spawn behind me. And, every now and then directions aren't clear. You're just waiting there. I find myself waiting all the time for my partners. Like, come on, the door's right here. I can break it down for you.
Let me tell you.
Don't get me started on the AI bullshit.
Let me tell you, so many times I go running up to a door thinking I'm supposed to open it because most games want you to be the interactive one. It's always like the characters always go, okay, open it, Anakin. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to open it. And I go run up and I open it, But in this game, they're like, follow me. And I'm like 10 paces ahead of them. I get somewhere, I turn around and I look at them. And then they like form up on me. And I turn back around and I look around and I'm like, well, there's a door. And then the AI is just standing there looking at me. And then like half a minute later, they walk up to the door and they open it. And I'm like, what the hell were you waiting for, asshole?
I challenge anybody to go watch the parts of the Let's Play I have up and count how many times I like scream at Rihanna because I'll be sitting there, she's guarding my back, I'm out the window firing, and all of a sudden I start getting hit from behind. Rihanna is standing there looking dead in the face at this guy with her gun up, and she's just not doing anything, and he's just sitting there hammering the back. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, I am raging here. There was one part where I even walked up to the guy, I killed the guy, and then I empty a mag into her head. I'm just sitting there, you idiot. And then I run out the door and I was like, not only can I not open doors, but I can't slam them in her face.
Okay, but hang on. I got another question though. Hang on. Here's the deal. Guns. Okay, there's plenty of guns laying around. Every time you kill somebody, they leave a gun laying, all right? But
right.
Here's the deal. You run out of ammo with one gun. And it says on the Xbox, okay, hit the yellow button, Y or whatever. I'm sure it's the same on the PS3. But you hit the top button to switch weapons, just like in every other general first-person shooter. I switch weapons. I have the other gun, okay? But then I go, well, you know what? That's stupid. I don't want to run around with one empty weapon. Let me go ahead and switch back and then pick up the gun that I'm standing on that I want to pick up. I switch back, even though it says right now while I have a gun with ammo in it, I'm standing on a gun and it says, press the blue button, the X button to pick up the other gun. And I'm like, oh, well, let me switch to the other one. I hit yellow, switch to the empty weapon, and the ability to pick up the gun I'm standing on goes away. I have to walk away, walk backward over the weapon again, and then it gives me the option to replace the one with the empty ammo with the one on the ground.
Oh, I've never had that happen. But then again, I probably wasn't
beginning the campaign. The whole time I've been playing it, I never once saw it not do that.
I don't pick up guns anymore. I just have whatever and go through the map. I love being able to shoot your allies, though. Oh my god, that is so much fun. I just put mags into my AI friends.
Well, yeah, when they piss you off, I completely understand. But yeah. So is there anything else?
Last thing right here. Spoiler. Skip 20 seconds in the podcast. I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. The genocide. I couldn't take that. A shitty game showing genocide, burying bodies, bringing up the Holocaust, bringing up all the different genocides in the world. Just the Holocaust is the one that rings in my head the most because I remember seeing footage of it. That breaks it for me.
So you didn't? Yeah, I know.
I don't enjoy that.
I know what part you're talking about. That was a really horrid thing to do. Like I had a lot of discomfort doing it.
They crossed a lot of lines, especially even bringing up America versus Korea. You're trying to start something. This game really did a lot of stuff they probably shouldn't have crossed the line.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing where I disagree. I have no fault with this.
Go ahead.
I have no fault with the story. I think that it's an interesting, creative story. It's trying to portray a world that we haven't, we don't have right now, but it's a possibility that it could happen in the future.
Alternate future history.
Exactly. So I mean, I look at it and I say, I loved. Oh, what is that October movie? Come on,
Hunt for Red October.
No,
Halloween.
No, it had Patrick Swayze in it, and it had the girl from dang it, no, maybe it wasn't. Yeah, it did. And the girl from Dirty Dancing too. And they were basically the Russians invaded this little town.
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. That's it. This
is a direct ripoff of Red Dawn. Instead of the Soviets, it's the North Koreans.
Right. It was written by the same guy.
Right.
Right. So I mean, you know, I really love that movie, but I was sitting there thinking the whole time, this is pretty much the same exact. It's the exact same thing pretty much, but I mean I enjoyed that movie, and they you know, they did a lot of the same things. You know, they didn't show the genocide or anything, but it was pretty much you know, it was the same.
The 80s, even war movies were happy back then.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't agree with the story. I do enjoy a good story. I haven't yet beaten the game. I'm still let's playing it on my channel. So, you know, we'll come back to that once I'm done. But I do have some things to talk about with the multiplayer, and unfortunately, these guys hadn't played it. And you might notice a lack of multiplayer of the game on my channel. Whew. The first video I did where I got a decent game was like 15-3 or 15 and something. The first thing I noticed as soon as I jumped in, I actually do enjoy the way the guns control. I have to say that I do like that a little bit. The way they move is pretty nice to me. It's not that sluggy feeling that I don't typically enjoy. However, the first thing that got me was I was running around. I got into this map, and all of the grass on the ground was a perfect rectangular purple pixel. Every single one of the patches of grass is supposed to be swing. And I'm like, oh god, okay. Well, here's the first thing. No. It happened that night every single time I went into that map, and I got it on video. That's the best thing about it. And I was like, okay, whatever. So the gunplay, not that bad. I've not had any trouble killing people in the multiplayer. I've had a really good time with it. They've got an excellent idea for how multiplayer should run, and I think that if Call of Duty or Battlefield or any first-person shooter that had a solid engine were to take this idea and use it, it would work tremendously. So what it is whenever you get a kill, you accumulate battle points. Now, these are pretty much how you buy your kill streaks, how you buy your some perks, you know. So say I've got one perk or one ability, which is Flak Jacket, and one that is a miniature helicopter. Okay, so I can say, okay, I've got a Flak Jacket that costs 400 points. I've got a mini helicopter that costs 2,000 points. Do I want to try and accumulate enough points to buy the helicopter, or do I want to spend, you know, multiple times the amount of points just over and over to get this Flak Jacket every time I die, so I can kill more? And you know, it works really well to me. It seems pretty good. However, the game engine itself is what's holding it back, and it makes it absolutely impossible. Multiple times I will be in a helicopter and it will spawn in, and as it spawns in, instead of like it always does, it spawns in, it comes in just like a normal like AC-130 or something from Call of Duty, comes in flat over the playing field, and then it gives you control. A lot of times, instead of coming in horizontally, it will come in vertically, looking right at the ground, and just immediately fly right into the ground and explode. So it's just like, here's your helicopter, boom, just done. It's over. You know, your kill streak is ruined. You've wasted 2,000 points, and that's enough for me to break a game. You know, especially when I've been just destroying people, and then they crap on my plate like that.
So hang on, let me ask you this: when you get the points, are the points accumulated only per life or per session of the game, or when does the points reset?
It's per session. So you don't keep them after battle. You can't carry them over. So it's like, okay, we're all starting fresh. You start with 400 points. So there's certain things like Flak Jacket and a UAV that you can have immediately, but the UAV is a personal one, so it only affects your map. So yeah, you've got a few, but you have to start accumulating immediately, and you can do this through assists. You can do this through vehicle kills, killing vehicles, and how you kill, or how you kill somebody also gives you a different amount of points. And some of the kill streaks and stuff is really cool, but you've got your guns. So you got like 6 assault rifles, and as I can see right now, you've only got 2 submachine guns, 2 light machine guns, and 2 sniper rifles. No, you've got one shotgun, but you got to purchase that already. So there's that. Then the funniest glitch I've ever seen, the one that literally did it in, I haven't played multiplayer since this one, was the match started, and okay, so there's the guy, I can hear a guy, and I can see him on my UAV. Right as the match starts, he's really close to me. He spawned right next to us, and I don't know if you know what I'm talking about when I say this, but if you've ever seen a character model that hasn't been rendered yet, it's just got its arms out to the side. It's in a Jesus pose.
Yep.
All of a sudden, he floats around the corner in Jesus pose, and bullets come out of his nose, man. He's just and kill me immediately, and then he just floats off like he's Jesus.
Oh man!
I said, "Game over, guys! Game over!" I was like, "This is absolutely ridiculous." The spawning is atrocious, and I've got a video of this too. I spawn in the enemy spawn. As I'm spawning in, I see the enemy walk. He's not even running; he's just kind of walking. I walk up, kill him. As I am killing this guy, another enemy spawns behind me in his own spawn and comes up and kills me. And I can only imagine, it was like a Pez dispenser. They just kept loading them in and, killing and killing just over and over. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. There's that. And then also when you spawn in, and this has got to be the cheapest thing because it has merited me, I guarantee you 100 kills. When you spawn in, instead of just spawning and being there with your gun, you're in an overhead aerial view of the map, and then it swoops in and shows you. However, what they do is they actually leave the gamer tags on the screen so you can see exactly where the enemy is. So as soon as I spawn in, I go, okay, there's a guy, there's a guy, there's a guy. I swoop in and I immediately just chunk grenades in those areas, and I will get a kill almost every time because I know right where they're at. So there's a lot of things wrong with this game. It's not just me. I mean, I can sit there and play for 15 minutes and I hear somebody go, Jesus Christ, this game is sick. I got it on video. This guy's just like, man, I am going to go sell this for $2. His buddy goes, no. I'm going to pay somebody to take it from me.
Let me tell you what's funny. Let me tell you what'll piss you off if you did buy launch day, okay? On Wednesday, I saw on Slick Deals, and this is bad. You know this is bad. On the second day a major supposed AAA title is released, Walmart and Amazon, the two biggest game retailers in the United States, okay, both of them had the game for $39.99.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
Second day, because the Metacritic reviews and all of the community reviews from the actual launch day were so overwhelmingly negative that Amazon and Walmart both knew immediately that the only way they were going to get sales was to just, drop it immediately and go for it. And they did. And, of course, a lot of people fell for it even then. But I still didn't. For $40, $39.99, I still didn't buy it after having played it, on just the campaign. I never even made it to the multiplayer.
Well, like I said, I don't know what it is, and I think it's mainly the fact that my subscribers are enjoying me playing it, and that the game, the story I still haven't finished it, and that there hasn't been a glitch in the game other than that first one that has completely destroyed the experience for me. I'm having an okay time with the single player. It's just a game to me. The multiplayer is just where it just went overboard for me, and I couldn't handle that. And guys, I know that this is a hard thing to hear, especially, you might be raging right now, but you got to understand, this is just a personal opinion. So I have to say, don't go for the multiplayer, and don't pay full price for the single player either, because it's not a good package. Wait till it comes down. A lot of you have asked me about that, and I know that these guys can attest that you should probably, if you're going to want to pick it up, watch a playthrough, watch my Let's Play, watch Rad's Let's Play, but wait for it to drop to about $15.
Yeah, I'd probably say purchase price is $15 to $20. In that range.
I got a better deal. Guitar Hero 3 I bought for $3 used. That's a better deal than a freaking Homefront.
So
I'd buy Homefront for $1.50.
Well, you know what? You know what's bad is when Metacritic score, the actual critic score is higher than the user score. That's how you it's bad. The user score was like a 5. Can you imagine some of these critics gave this game a 9.5?
I don't even know how.
They were paid.
Well, maybe. I'll tell you.
Did they play it?
Well, did you
Let's
even
move on
see
to
the stock?
Oh, no.
Hang on, I'll just finish with this.
Oh boy, the stock market. Oh boy, I'm scared now.
Actually, the stock. Who put this stupid thing out? Was it EA?
It was THQ.
THQ, right?
THQ.
Their stock actually dropped the day that the Metacritic game review, the final game review before launch day came out. They said that they had to sell 2 million copies of this game to break even on the production costs.
Oh my God.
So already everybody who's involved in THQ stock realized from the reviews alone there is no way they will meet those sales quotas. So THQ stock took a nosedive. It dropped like 23% in one day.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, any of you people out there that might have THQ stock, I am so sorry.
Start crying. Jeez.
Anyway, that's my last take on it. You know.
All right, yeah. Let's move on from Homefront, guys. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You know, I'm gonna continue enjoying.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna finish it up. I'm sure everyone's gonna love to see me rage into that whole thing in 480. It's gonna say 720 on my YouTube, but people know deep down. Anyway, so we're gonna move on here, I just this one should be a quick little one. Is just little stories, a little good way to connect to you guys. But any weird stories you've had at GameStop, I'd like to start with mine first before Anakin gets into it, and maybe Brad has some himself. But one time I went to GameStop. And I went online, and a lot of my UK buddies, and apparently this only came out in the UK. There's a thing called a sell. And this came out for Call of Duty Black Ops. It was just a cool little thing if you pre-ordered Call of Duty Black Ops. You got a picture and there's some extra stuff, cool add-ons, along with your poster. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I go to the store, and I don't know if I want to use his name, but we'll just say the manager of the store was at the counter. And I go up to him, and I go, by any chance, do you know anything about the Call of Duty sell? He looks at me, and he goes, what? I'm like, whoa, the Call of Duty Black Ops sell. It's like a poster thing you get with it. He looks at me and he says, there is no way I've heard of anything like this. And as he's saying this, he goes, I'm going to look it up right now. He starts typing, but he's not looking at the screen. He's like looking around the room saying, no way, this is not real. You are crazy. I'm like, oh my God. So he looks it up, and of course it's not sold in America. He's like, no way. I'm like, oh okay. And he goes on another tangent, and he starts like almost having convulsions in the store. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm leaving now. And as I walked out of the store, I was like scared. My father's like, you all right there, son? I'm like, no.
So did you ever figure out why the hell he did it?
Well, guess what? He's the manager of that store. So guess who saw him at the midnight release for Black Ops?
Yeah, wow, that's really weird.
He was an even bigger creeper at the Black Ops one. My friend wanted to pre-order the hardened edition, and the guy messed up the order. And of course, he gets the manager when we were up to the desk, all the hecticness, and he goes, "Could I buy a hardened edition?" He looks at him, and he has another one of those freak out spasm attacks in the middle of at like 12:30 at night, and we're like, "Oh my God, is he going to kill us?"
Well, I do have a story, but I don't know how to put, I don't know if you guys have noticed, and you probably have. I don't know how it is anywhere else but here, but where I live, GameStop only hires non-gamers who know nothing about games.
Oh my God, I hear you on that.
So okay, and I'm not being sexist here. The manager just happens to be a female, and so I walk in, and it was when the Oblivion Game of the Year edition. It wasn't new, so I was, it was kind of hard to find. I couldn't find it at my GameStop, and I just happened to be in the mall. So I went in there, and it's obviously, there's obviously a Game of the Year edition. It was like the Game of the Year in 2004 or whenever it came out. And I walk in there, and I'm just, I'm kind of looking around, and how they're like, hey, can I help you find something? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, actually, I was like, I'm just kind of looking for the Oblivion, the Game of the Year edition. And she's like, there is no Oblivion Game of the Year edition. And I was like, I just kind of I paused. I took a pause for a minute, and I really I was like, I'm gonna have to do this. And I turned to her and I'm like, she's probably joking. So I'm like, yeah. Do you guys have it in the back? Do you guys have an extra copy? And she's like, no. There's no game of the Oblivion. That game really wasn't that good.
Oh my god!
Now I'm pissed off. Now I'm insulted. And I look at her and I'm like, that's my favorite game of all time. And she's like, well, that doesn't mean that there's a Game of the Year edition.
Oh my god!
So I literally just I wanted to humiliate her so bad. I did, but I ended up finding a copy. It's a brown cover. I'm actually holding it's a brown cover, and it says right on the front, Game of the Year Edition. And I took it up. I didn't even say anything to her about it. I was like, well, thank you anyway. She walks off. I find the copy. I take it up there. And I set it down, and she's ringing it up. And I was like, yeah, I found the Game of the Year edition. She's like, oh, that's good. As if nothing happened. She's just like, oh, that's nice. That's good. She's like, yeah, this. I was like, are you oblivious to your existence, lady? I just want to. I mean, that is what GameStop is. It's a bunch of people who think they know what they're talking about, and it's just like that's the only impression I've ever gotten of GameStop. Not only that, ripoff. We've talked about that before. So I never go into them. I use the mom and pop stores around here that evidently the rest of the world doesn't have, because a lot of people in the comments on that episode said they didn't have them. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. I got a good one though. This one's pretty funny. Okay. There's actually where I live at. Okay. There's actually about 6 GameStops within driving distance. Okay. I don't even know why we have that many. I mean, my town isn't even that big. Okay. We were talking about like 100,000 people, and there's like 6 GameStops. So anyway, I go to the one that's nearest to my house when Supreme Commander Forged Alliance came out. Now, this is an RTS that's only on the PC. They actually did come out with an Xbox version, but nobody bought it. I mean, this was even prior to Halo Wars. So nobody knew how to play an RTS on a console, and I don't think anybody was willing to try to learn. So anyway, this game came out. Me and a group of friends of mine, there was about 8 or 9 of us. We all were really heavy into this game. We had LAN parties at the house, PCs hooked up on all. So we all knew, okay, today's launch day. Let's go get it. So a buddy of mine gets off of work a little early, and he heads out. He had something else to do, and he goes by GameStop, and he picks it up. So he goes in there, and he gets it, and they say, yeah, no problem. Here you go. It's the last one. And I'm like, and he's like, oh, shit, okay, yeah, Jason's going to be mad. All right, I'll take it. So I pull up in the parking lot while he's coming out. And he goes, yeah, man, and he's swinging it in the air and all this. He's like, I got the last one. I was like, oh, you bastard, really? And he goes, yeah, I just bought the last one. And I go in there after he does, and he's in the parking lot talking on the phone or something, and I go in there. And I'm thinking, okay, well, damn, I'm going to ask when their next shipment is, or whatever, because I didn't feel like going anywhere else that day, but I wanted to go get it, and I thought about going to Best Buy or whatever. So I go in and ask anyway. I'm like, hey, listen, today's the launch day for, Supreme Commander Forged Alliance. You guys got any? And he's like, yeah, hang on. This is the last one. I'm like, yes, really? And he goes, yeah, this is the last one, man. But, and here's his pitch, okay? He goes, yeah, you're lucky because that's why you need to pre-order. You should always pre-order. This is the last one. So I buy it, okay? I walk out in the parking lot. My buddy's out there, and I'm swinging mine around going, look, I got the last one. And he's cracking up. He's like, wait a minute, how'd that happen? And I said, hang on. Did he tell you that's why you should pre-order? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's his shtick. That's what he's trying to do. This guy, that's how he's trying to get people to pre-order. Is he says, yeah, but next time, you might not get the last one, And it's like, give me a freaking break.
That is hilarious,
man. Let me tell you, to top that story off, another friend of ours went in that same day, got exactly the same story. He got the quote-unquote the last one. And next time, he'd better pre-order.
I'll tell you, the only thing that would make that story better is if you and your friend were in line. And he goes up to your friend, this is the last one, and then you could hear everything that's being said.
Oh man, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I wanted to go in there and call the guy out on it, and I never did. But after that moment, I was just like, oh god, it's just a scam. It's just a total freaking scam across the board.
Have you guys ever heard of that Silent Rob guy? He used to post video. I don't know if he does anymore, but he posted videos on YouTube, and he had a huge GameStop rant that he went on, and he downed the thing, and he had a video. He's like, all right, he's like, this rant is going out with a bang, I promise. And he basically, he's like, okay, so this happened when Madden 09 or whatever came out, and he's like, and I have a video of it. He's like, it was taken for police evidence. He's like, so here we go, and he's got the camera behind him, and he's behind the counter, and there's this guy, and evidently, so GameStop, they ordered him. They were saying, okay, listen, we're selling all the pre-orders. So this was the day of the launch, so people could have come in and got their pre-order on that day. But because so many non-pre-ordered people were asking for it, they decided to sell the pre-orders.
Oh man!
So this African-American guy comes in. He's asking for his copy of Madden, and he's got to tell him we don't have it. He freaking hauls over the counter and punches the crap out of him.
Oh my god!
He punches Rob down, and he's laying on the floor. He just picks up his receipt and leaves. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god! So you have to type that in. Type in Silent Rob, and then punch or something, later. And it will bring up a ton of parody videos that are just hilarious. There's one that's like a Mike Tyson punch out. It's so funny. But anyway, I had to throw that story in there.
Yeah, and one more thing before we move on here is do you ever get the feeling every time you put a game, I mean, they critique whatever game you're buying?
Oh, absolutely.
My friend, he was in front of me. He was buying. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a good game. And the cashier looks at him, and he goes, "That game is a total piece of." And he literally said to a customer, the S word, and you don't have to bleep it out. And he looks at him. He's like, "Excuse me." He goes, "That is the biggest piece I've ever played. I'm serious. I want to buy that if you paid me to." And he looks at him, and he just walks out the store. So I get up there, and I put my copy down, and what was I buying? I don't remember what I was buying. It was one of those games, something good, one of those all-time classics, Resistance 2. And he looks at me, he's like, now this is a game. You better go tell your little friend over here to go buy a man game like this, not that pony crap he was trying to buy over there. I'm like,
wow.
What?
I'd have just been like, did I ask for an opinion? You son of a...
Every time. Oh, I remember buying Kingdom Hearts, and the guy just like, oh, one of those people, aren't you? I'm like, oh my gosh. And then another guy in line behind me is just like, dude, I've already played 40 hours into that game. I love it. I'm like, that's enough of that.
Well, around here we only get like sports dads and stuff. I mean, I really don't ever go in there and see anybody, even the customers who know about gaming. I'm just like, I hear the GameStop people going, "Oh my gosh, have you heard about the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 coming out?" And it's like, no, wait, what? That was announced? Yeah, it was in this Game Informer magazine here. Would you like to buy a copy? And I'm like, can I thumb through it first? Because I know you're full of crap. And I'll tell you what, I've actually turned the page on them quite a few times, and I've actually gotten 4 or 5 free copies of Game Informers. Here's what you do, boys and girls, and this works at my GameStop, and I want you to try it at yours. So you go into GameStop, and you basically you're wanting to act like you're going to be into this magazine. Just act like you are about ready to buy a subscription, and then just say, "I don't know. I just really don't know if I can get what I want out of this magazine." And they will give you a free copy. Here, take this. Look this over. If you really like it, you can come back in, because you've sold the fact that you are probably about to buy it. You're just not sure. I've gotten 5 free magazines out of it. I do it almost every time I go in there.
Oh my gosh.
It works like a charm. As long as you act like you're going to do it, they'll hand you a free one.
Good Lord.
Oh.
Well, hey, I got one more to add. I mean, during the Rock Band 2 2 days. Now, this is literally right at the peak of the music gaming franchise, you know, when everything is hot. I think Guitar Hero World Tour had just kind of come out. Rock Band 2 hit. I mean, everybody was music game crazy at that time. I go into the local GameStop, and there's this guy that is probably early 20s. It looked like he'd never played a game in his life. Okay, you know, he looked like kind of this like college jock or something. You know, somebody that spends more time drinking than he does playing a video game for sure. So I'm sitting there like, what? You know, what? Okay, so I go in. And I'm like, you know, and the guy is like, "Hey, how's it going? Can I help you?" And I'm like, "All right, yeah, sure. I'm just here to pick up my my Rock Band 2 kit, okay?" And well, they don't have any in the store. I'm looking for the big special edition box, but GameStop would usually keep them in the back. So I go up there to the counter. I'm like, "Yeah, man, I need to pick up Rock Band 2. I need to get the big special edition kit." And he goes, "Okay, Rock Band 2." He types it in. Okay, this is at the absolute peak. Everybody's, you know, like, everybody's got a freaking plastic guitar in their hand, and this guy's over there like, Rock Band 2, typing it in. And he's like, "Has that been released yet?" And I'm like,
oh my God.
And then he goes, "Is that one of those, that's one of those hero games? Like, you play something? Is this like a Guitar Hero Rock Band?" I'm like,
wow.
Dude, Rock Band 2. Rock Band, the game, the big number one selling game, like right now. I need to get one. It's like huge. It's probably the most talked about game released right now. And he's like, "Hang on, let me look it up." And I'm just like, oh my God, dude, you know.
I've had plenty of those where you go in for a game and they're like, "Let's look it up," and you're like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
Oh my God, yeah, I know.
And then, you know, Rock Band 3 came out, you know, which did not get a whole lot of sales, unfortunately. But I did buy, I actually pre-ordered because you got a deal if you bought the keyboard and the game together. And they honored, like GameStop was honoring some weird deal because Sony had some goofy problem. There was some weird law in the United States that they couldn't sell the keyboard and the game together at a discounted bundle like the Xbox could. And you know, and even the Wii, but because there was some weird deal with Sony Music, and they couldn't do it. Anyway, GameStop said, "Well, if you buy the 2 items together on the same receipt, we will still honor the discount, but only if you pre-ordered." I'm like, "Oh Jesus!" So here we go. So I pre-ordered. I go down to my store to pick it up on the launch day. You know, Rock Band 3, and again, I'm like, okay, at this point, it's not that big. You know, we're kind of on the downturn of these music games, but I'm still into it, so I go get it. I get there, they don't have the keyboard in, but I pre-ordered. You know, I'm like, okay, well, where's my crap? And they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't have any of those here. We don't usually get the music stuff anymore." I'm like, whoa. I pre-ordered. Here's my receipt, and they're like, "Yeah, we got a keyboard, I think, at one of our other stores. You can drive to go get it if you want." And they give me a store listing. It's an hour and a half away.
Oh my God.
I'm like, "Are you freaking serious? What do you want me to take a bus over there? I mean, let me go get a Greyhound ticket so I can go drive an hour and a half away. You know, this is ridiculous." And
no kidding.
They were like, "Well, we can get you one. It'll probably be a week or so, and it'll come in the next ship." I'm like, "Are you freaking serious?" So I finally got them to give me a refund. I went to Best Buy, and I got them to honor the discounted bundle that GameStop failed to deliver on, and I just said screw it after that. And now I pretty much buy all my games from Best Buy and Amazon. You know, I refuse to go to GameStop. I won't go there anymore at all.
Oh, yeah. Now you just reminded me of the crisis I had when the map pack was coming out, First Strike, when I was trying to get an Xbox. All I wanted was a used Xbox or any Xbox I could get for as cheap as it could get. GameStop not only told me no repeatedly, even though they had them in the store, they said, "Well, other people have reserves on this ahead of you. You know, they're waiting for this in line," because it was after Christmas time. And I'm like, "You really got to be kidding me." And they told me that I couldn't get a refurbished Xbox 360. I couldn't get this. And they told me the closest place I could get it is 13 and a half hours away from my house. They kept turning me down. They continued to turn me down. They wouldn't. I'm like, "Could you call another store?" They're like, there's really no one around. So finally, I'm like, "All right, you're calling the next store that has this item, and you're going to tell me where they are." She tells me it's 13 and a half hours away, and there might be people ahead of you in line to get it. I looked at her, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" She's like, "But you can buy the $3.99 one with Connect." I looked at her, and I said, hell no. And I walked out.
With Kinect.
I went to Best Buy the next day and bought my Xbox for $200.
My God.
Good
yeah, it's
God.
Well, I've got all kinds of stories about freaking places screwing me over. I mean, I've done it myself. I worked at Radio Shack. I mean, you have to. Radio Shack, the company. And I want to point that out. A lot of times it's not the employees of these places. It's the companies. You know, I mean, there is some stupidity in some of a lot of the employees. But, you know, when it comes to the way the place is run, there's nothing worse than there's nothing more offensive than getting chewed out for something that the big wigs have thought up. So, but anyway.
Yeah. So do we have time for one more topic tonight?
No, not really. Yeah, maybe we should do a quick one.
Just like our last two quickies. We either can do our favorite worlds or discussion about, you know, sniping compared to real world in video games.
Let's just do our favorite world.
Yeah, I think we should.
Let's just do one gaming world that we can visit over and over again, and I will start with, I mean, we can start with you, Reed, since you came up with the topic.
Well, you know, there's just been so many out there, and off my top of my head, because I was thinking so hard back and forth between games. I mean, there's so many pretty worlds and interesting worlds I have, but most of the games I play are so violent. It's like, yeah, I probably wouldn't want to ever be there, ever. But when, you know, as simple as it is, after, I mean, go down to the basis of Kingdom Hearts, because that's one of the purest games. Once you defeat the Heartless and you get the happy G-rated ending, the worlds are just peaceful, happy places. And where else would you rather be than a happy place?
Yeah, I get, yeah. So Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yeah, for now, anyway.
Okay. Well, I thought about this quite a bit. So I have a ton of worlds that I enjoy. But one of my favorites has to be, it has to be the African plains of Far Cry 2. I'm not talking about a world I would like to visit, because it's a civil war going on.
Yeah.
But there are times in that game where I'm driving to a mission, and I just kind of look out the window and I see the sun setting behind a mountain. I'm just like, oh, and I get out, and I actually have a save file on my game that I've saved just that file. And it's of me standing on the lake, just looking at the sunset. And it's absolutely breathtaking. And when you take a picture of it, you really can't tell that it's a game. I've taken it and I've shown my friends and everything, and they're just like, "Oh, well, where's that from?" You know, I'm like, "This is a video game, man. This is just one of the beautiful things in this game." And I have to just take a break and just say, "Wow!" And you know, another one is Panau Island, and it's a really close tie between that and Panau Island from Just Cause. But I'm gonna have to go with the African plains.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got, believe it or not, it's very similar. I would actually was going to say the original Far Cry, but really Crysis, the first Crysis, was, just an even more a realistic and better rendered version of Far Cry, the original. And, Far Cry 2 has some really gorgeous graphics and some fantastic scenery as you look out, like you say, over the distance. I mean, it really is believable that you're in that environment. But, Crysis, all that, all the stuff going on in the original Crysis is taking place on a tropical island, and you've got the water is like splashing up on the shore. You've got all this, this foliage everywhere, and there's a huge mountain in the middle. And then if you actually play the game far enough, then there's this crazy like snowstorm that actually hits the tropical island, and it like freezes everything in place and all that. It is just breathtaking in certain scenes. It is unbelievable.
Well, see, I haven't. That's the one thing that I'm hating right now, is that I'm about to play Crysis 2 next Tuesday, and I have never played the original. I've never had a chance to, because I've never had a computer good enough to run it. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure, I'm 100% sure that from what you've said, from what I've heard about the game from my buddies and stuff, that it probably would be my number one as well if I had gotten to play it. But Far Cry 2, I like that. I've always been fascinated with Africa. And when you actually, it's high noon and you're driving a buggy or something over the just golden fields of grass, and like there's antelope and there's zebra and stuff out there, it's just absolutely amazing to me. I'm just like, yes, this is great.
I think you've just got me to go buy Far Cry. I think I'm going to trade in Homefront. Once I'm going to get the whole. No, seriously, I'm going to get the whole playthrough. I'm going to trade in Homefront, and I think I'm going to try and get a used copy of Crysis or a new copy. I'm going to trade in some games and get it for real.
Wait. You just okay? Which one are you going to get? You said Far
Crysis.
Cry.
Sorry, new Crysis 2. I'm sorry, the one that's coming out, Crysis 2.
Right. Well, okay. Anakin, let me ask you real quick before we go: is Far Cry 2 going to be an open world as well?
No. In fact, Far Cry 2 is actually made by a different company. They only kept the name. That is not a Crytek game. Crytek made Crysis Warhead, and Crysis 2, and they also made the original Far Cry, but Far Cry 2 was actually a competing game at the time.
No.
Crysis.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. Did I make myself clear when I asked if Far Cry 2 was or Crysis 2 was an open world game, right?
Well,
no, you didn't say that.
Far Cry 2 is the open world game.
Right. No. Is Crysis 2 going to be an open world? That's what I meant.
I think it's more linear. I think it's a little bit more of a mission, Modern Warfare-esque game.
Oh, I swear to God, if you guys con me into another game, I'm going to be mad about.
Okay, well, I'll have to look it up because the multiplayer looks like it's going to be pretty fun, and I played it, and I did have some gripes about it, but I'm. Now that I've been playing Killzone 3 a lot, that weighty feeling that I had in Crysis is gone because I can deal with it now. So I think I'm going to pick it up for that. But I just needed to know because if it's an open world game, I'm going to enjoy it. I know I will. It's one of those things that even if it's a bad game like Mercs 2, even though just because it was an open world, I still had fun with the physics of the game, and I still think that is a buy, even though the gameplay is so bad. And you look at Just Cause 2, even though that gameplay is not very, the story's not very good, I still way enjoyed it because of
the nuclear missiles. That was funny. That
was just absolutely
so amazing. Funny. My friend showed me that. We were dying.
Oh yeah, no, for real. Yeah, when you're it's such a comic game. It's not supposed to be real. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's so funny.
Well, but anyway, by the way, talking about Crysis, for those of you who might be buying Crysis 2, like I will be, there is a pre-order bonus. I don't remember where, okay, but there is a pre-order bonus that is good all the way up until launch day. I think it's either Amazon or Best Buy, maybe, unfortunately, GameStop if it is. I forget where, okay? I don't need this, all right? But anybody else who is going to buy Crysis 2, if you buy the pre-order at one of those places, go and look them up yourself and figure out which one it is, they give you Crysis 1 and Crysis Warhead for the PC for free. So if you've never played those, even if your PC isn't quite up to par, okay, remember now, those are free games, and the games are now going on 5 years old. If you have a PC that you have purchased in the last 5 years, you can at least play the game, not necessarily on super high quality, but you still can experience those games. And I cannot recommend the first Crysis enough. It is a phenomenal game, completely open-ended. You can go about doing whatever mission in any way you want. You can either go stealthy, you can go all guns blazing, run through the front, you can do whatever. Every single thing in the game is destructible. You can shoot a tree and the tree falls like you would expect it to. You can punch the side of a building and the building actually falls in its man-made debris.
That is awesome.
It's not like, we're not talking Armageddon or not Armageddon, Red Faction 2 or whatever. We're not talking about that kind of destruction because that's more of just these goofy shatter effects. This is like there's a hut. You destroy the side of the hut, and it actually collapses like you would expect that kind of structure to do so. It's phenomenal, I'm telling you. It's absolutely great.
Well, it's just upsetting to me that the second one's not going to be that way.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain. I'm a little distraught over that, especially since the first one had all these great features for the suit that you're wearing, and they kind of dumbed it down on the second one for the consoles so that you've only got a couple of buttons to choose from. Honestly, they didn't even need to do that because it was a rotary menu with your mouse anyway. In the first one, you press down your middle mouse button, and then you would just move the mouse to the direction of the rotary menu, and you would choose the option for your suit that you wanted. I mean, it was very intuitive. They could have easily done that by holding down one of the sticks on a pad on either the PS3 or the Xbox, and then rotating in the direction of the of the menu item that you wanted. But they just chose to dumb it down to two options.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out.
And I just want to do two quick honorable mentions, though, of worlds. And I'd have to say the BioShock worlds of Infinite and BioShock 1 and 2, when they were, not full of death. I mean, when they're at their prime and not destroyed, I really had myself many times looking out into the water and at the lights of the cities, and even looking at Columbia, the city of Columbia, the floating city. Some of the stuff is really amazing. It really is.
Yeah, well, I mean, even in the death and everything, it's still a very interesting world to be a part of. And you can, in the second one, when you're walking out into the ocean as the Big Daddy and you look around, it's a nice contrast, the coral and the buildings at the same time. It's pretty cool.
All right, so we're going to do our wrap up here, or goodbye, I guess. So, Brad, any last things here?
No, I just want to thank everybody for watching, and if you haven't checked out my Homefront Let's Play, give it a try. Give it a watch if you're okay with some excessive language and some raging moments. And also if you're not planning on buying the game, or if our talk about the game has kind of led you away from it, still you can come over there and watch and see me trudge through it, or Rad for that matter.
Yeah, you're gonna want to check out my raging for sure.
In all its 480p glory.
Oh boy,
I can't wait.
Don't forget, Rad. Just go ahead and shoot the 12 pixels over to the right when you see the guy appear. Those 12 pixels are bad. The 10 pixels next to you are good. Just remember.
You get that many pixels? Lucky goose.
Oh my god.
So any last things, Anakin?
Oh, I apologize to everyone and feel so sorry for you if you purchased Homefront on launch day. And you will not see that on my channel, unfortunately. I really don't want to subject anyone to it. And, unfortunately, you haven't seen a whole lot from me on my channel recently. But I'm telling you guys who are hardcore fans that are listening to this podcast, I am coming back to my channel. I've taken a short break, so be on the lookout for some new updates. I'm going to do some overall new updates on the channel. I'm going to do some new backgrounds, new opening sequence, and I'm going to get back into some things here coming up soon. So be on the lookout for me. And again, always thanks for everybody for being so loyal to my channel.
Yes, I'm loyal.
And me too, buddy. And I want to thank everybody for watching. I mean, it comes without saying that all of us really appreciate this, including Ms. Zombie Lady, wherever she may be right now. We really appreciate it. Please send your mail to us. Leave it in the comments. It's all good stuff. Go check out our Down the Scope channel, YouTube /Down the Scope.
What's that email address? What's that?
God. Go call Ms. Zombie Lady up.
So it's podcastdownthescope@gmail.com.
There we go. And I want to thank you guys, everybody, for watching, and it's really a blast. So I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.
Later.
See ya.